My ladies, welcome back to the Joy Talk. As you know, I'm your host, Vanessa Joy, here to help you do business, life, and everything in between your way with the goal of living a purposeful life. Now, when we talk about purposeful life, we gotta talk about personal growth, self development. And today, I wanna talk to you guys about the real hard truth when it comes to your personal development. The real hard truth when you go on a personal growth journey. The real hard truth about self growth, the journey to self love, my ladies. Because there is a big hard truth that needs to come and be unfolded when we talk about personal growth and personal development and self growth and self love and this journey of becoming our best selves, of becoming the best woman we can be. It is a journey, and there are a lot of things that come into play when you embark on this journey, and there are a lot of things that are uncovered. And I feel like we don't always keep it real on social media. We don't always keep it real, when it comes to that. And we don't always share the journey, the stickiness that comes with self development, that comes with personal growth, and that comes with that journey, okay? So this is what I want to talk to you guys about today, okay? Because we are always going to be evolving. We are going to be growing. We are going to be changing. We are going to be entering new phases of our lives as women, and we are going to want to stretch ourselves. We're going to want to grow, and we're going to want to excel in the different areas and the different roles that we are now entering into. And that's perfectly normal, and that's totally inside of ourselves, inside our souls. Like, we are beings that are very ambitious, my ladies, okay? And it's absolutely normal that we will want to succeed in different areas of our lives, at different stages of our lives, and we're going to want to be the best at what we are doing. And that also means that we are going to have to develop ourselves. So we are going to have to grow. We are going to have to expand ourselves. We're going to have to learn new things. Just for example, when you think about motherhood, like when you go from not having a child to having one child, two child, three child, you develop different things. You develop your mindset, you develop who you are, you develop these different areas of your lives, and you want to be a good mom. Like, I don't know no mom out there who's just like, I don't want to be a good mom. I'm not out here trying to be a good mom. Like, every mom out there that I know is trying to be the best mom she can be for her kids, but she's also trying to be the best woman she can be for herself. So that's like one area of self-development. And even if like you enter like a new area of your work, in your work life, in your career, in that professional area of your life, you will want to be good. You will want to excel. You will want to feel fulfilled. You will want to be happy. Even if you're entering a relationship, even if you're in your marriage, like your marital status, your marital situation there, you're going to want to be a good wifey. You want to be a good girlfriend. You want to be a good partner. You want to be a good friend. But like, being a good friend and a good partner, or being a good mom and a good employee at one stage of your life versus in 4, 5, 10 years of your life is going to look completely different, because you're going to be changing, you're going to be evolving. And unless you kind of have the awareness that you have to grow, and unless you have the awareness of, I'm deciding to become the better version of myself, I'm deciding to evolve and step into this role into my life in womanhood as who I am, but knowing that I want to be better and I want to develop, you are going to have to work on yourself. Like, you have to work on yourself. You have to do the work. There is a lot of personal development and self-growth that needs to happen in order to enter new levels and in order to succeed at those new levels. So that was like a brief intro to just say, ladies, we are going to go through a lot of personal development in our lives. We are going to go through a lot of steps and stages and areas of our lives that we are going to grow in. And in order to be good and excel and feel good in those areas of our lives, we are going to have to work on our personal development. Okay? Now, a lot of the times we're going to look to social media and we're going to see other women who have started, and who are very successful now, and you see them like doing their thing, like in their zone, in their environment, and you're just like, how is she like succeeding at everything, and she has time to organize her fridge in clear containers and rinse all the strawberries and all the things while doing this business and while taking care of her kids, and she always looks so good. Like all these things we see very much on social media, and it's like, how does the person get there? Now, I'm not saying this that for everybody it's real. Like some people it's just really not real. But a lot of us and a lot of women out there, it's real. Like you actually step into that version of your life because that's the life you wanted to have. But to get there, you had to do a lot of work. Like there's a lot of women out there that you see successful who have their business, who have their families, who have a beautiful relationship. They are definitely having bad days. There's definitely bad days for every single one of us. There's a lot of struggles for every single one of us out there. But most of the time, the women that you look up to or the women that you see that like you see are so inspiring had to go through a personal development journey of their own. They had to do the work on themselves. Trust me, they had to do the work on themselves. And the real hard truth about all that, I'm going to have a lot of hard truths. I'm going to have a lot of truth about personal development. It was not easy. This is one of the hard truths that comes up. It's not easy to choose to go through a personal development journey. It is not easy to choose to become a better version of yourself. It's not easy to decide that you want to change yourself to become who you truly think you are capable of becoming. You know what I mean? Like, it's much easier to just lay back and say, you know what? I think I'm good here. I'm just going to live my life like this, and that's okay. And that's okay. If that's how you feel, that's okay. But it's so much harder to tell yourself, okay, I know that this situation right now for me is not working. I need to do something about it. And just that moment where you decide to do something about it and embark on that journey, you are going to go through a massive journey and you are going to learn so many things. And the real hard truth is that it is not easy. It is incredibly expansive and incredibly enriching and absolutely worth it. Yet, I'm going to give you the truths because that's what I do, my ladies. It is not easy, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit of glimpse about my life and a little bit about things about how I went through my own personal journey, okay? In my 20s, let me tell you, my ladies, I was completely like not who I am today. I don't want to say lost because I think lost is a big word, but maybe, yeah, I was pretty lost. Like I had so many bad habits. I was in toxic relationships in terms of the people around me. And I really, really thought for the longest time, like this was okay. Like this was just normal. Like doing these bad habits is normal. Just doing the things is normal. Not really caring is normal. Being in this toxic relationship is super normal. It's okay. And like, you know what? I don't think I thought it was normal. I just thought like, this is it. Like, okay, well, this is what it is. Like, this is what's up. And like, I don't feel good all the time, but I guess it's okay because like, I'm just going to numb the things with the bad habits and I'm just going to numb things with like shopping and doing all the things that are external validation. I'm just going to go get that validation and it's going to be okay because I don't have to deal with the things that make me really sad in my toxic relationships. Like, that's where I was in my 20s, okay? There was a part of me who was very ambitious and who always will be and who always was, where I was just doing the thing, working on my business, going to school, getting my degrees, like having the good people in my life bring me up. And when I was in that environment, I knew I was pushing myself forward and I always knew I wanted my business and I always knew I wanted to like work in cool jobs. And that was one thing I was able to do. But deep down within me, like, the things I cared so much about, like my relationship, my friends, the other environments, I cared so much about that had such a big impact on how I saw myself and how I loved myself. And I was just not able to really thrive in the places that were good for me because I was carrying a lot of shizzle that was very negative for me, okay? I was really, really like unable to speak my truth. I was not able to put boundaries for anything. Like literally, I was not able to set any type of boundaries, even if someone did me really wrong. And people did me really wrong. Like people did me really dirty. And I'm not trying to spill the beans because it's not about like, we're not Wendy Williams show here. But like people did me really wrong and I forgave those people and I wasn't able to speak my truth. I wasn't able to say, you cannot treat me this way because it's not okay. And if you continue to treat me this way, I'm going to leave. Like I'm going to leave the situations and we don't have to have a relationship together. I was unable to do that. All I would do was cry about it, like whine about it a little bit. And the next day it was like nothing happened. And I would just continue to condone this behavior towards me. And it was only hurting me deep, 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 deep down. It was really hurting me. And that was like in my 20s. And it was a long time, my ladies. Like, don't get me wrong. I had good times. And that's the thing from a lot of my ladies, I think out there is like, when you are in a situation that is toxic, literally toxic situation for you, in a situation where you don't feel good about yourself, where you're not feeling like you are valued, you still have good times through those moments, which is really weird and really weird to say, but I know you will understand. You still go through good times, and those good times like allow you to say, well, it's not so bad. Like it's okay, you know, right? Because we you know, with this person, we're just like having such a good time. It's okay, like that, you know, they treat me this way sometimes because, you know, we have such a good time. But guess what? It is not okay. Like people who love and respect you will, yes, maybe have conflict with you sometimes, but they will never disrespect you or disvalue you. And that's really a very important thing. Like no matter how fun you have at a festival, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, what really matters is how someone treats you, like how they see you, care for you, and hear you. And like if they don't, they don't. And that's like period, point blank, period, okay? So that was like my 20s. So I was there. My starting point was there, you know, like doing my thing, going to school, doing things, working hard, but always thinking to myself, like, I'm feeling sad. And is this person like, you know, okay? Is that person okay? Like, why did they treat me this way? Blah, 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 blah. Like always having that dark cloud around me. And I wasn't able to leave the toxic situations because I didn't have that like self-love for myself. Like I didn't love myself enough at that moment to say, this is not right for me. Like this does not work for me. How you are treating me, how you are speaking to me does not work for me. And this is just a correlation of like not having enough self-love for myself. Like, so this is really deep. Like when you don't have a lot of self-love for yourself, when you don't develop that, and when you don't work on your own self-love, you will have trouble setting boundaries that are healthy for you. Like not everything is okay. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I don't appreciate this. It's okay to set your boundaries because you love yourself and you want to treat yourself with respect, and other people should as well. So this is really an important one. Okay. So I'm at this point and I have like no real clue about like self-development or anything like that. But I definitely deep down, I knew that like this wasn't working for me. And I knew I had so much more to bring to life. Like there was just so much more than just like doing this routine of toxic behavior, toxic habits, toxic vibes, and like thinking that it was okay, you know, because time is passing. Like you might not realize, but when you're 20, it's fine. When you're 22, it's fine. Then you become, you're 25, and then you're 26, and then, you know, you're just like, what? Like, is this my life? Like I literally once, many times, I think, looked at myself and I was like, is this really what I'm choosing for my life? Like, is this what I am choosing to feel like for the rest of my life? You know, because in your 20s, you always think that what you're doing right now is for the rest of your life and you have no choice. Okay, this is another big thing. Like a lot of times when you are in a situation, when you are in the starting point of like self-development, before you start, you kind of always think you don't have a choice. Like you think like, well, this is it for me. Like, this is it. I don't have a choice. Like I can't really leave this situation because like I have a choice, but I don't really, like, I don't hold that choice for myself, which is completely ridiculous because we absolutely have 100% of the choice to make for ourselves. Okay. So that was me. But then one big thing that happened in my mid 20s, literally, I remember my mid 20s, I picked up the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, okay? And I was reading it in my dream job that I thought was my dream job at the time. And I was reading this book and it really like opened up a lot of things for me. That is when I started to understand that there's something called self-improvement and self-development, and you can grow, and there are things that you can understand about yourself, you can understand about your behaviors, you can understand about your emotions that can help you become better. Like, I'm not saying that the Start With Why book is exactly that, but because it's not, it's about finding your purpose and a lot of things, many other things. But it was the first stepping stone into understanding that you can self-develop and become another version of yourself. And this, like, I was in the storm of a very toxic, like, environment, in the storm, in the full storm. I remember going to cry in the bathrooms and was like, this is my life, and texting my very healthy friend mentally who was just like, you need to get out of these situations, but I've been telling you this for 5 years, so you have to either do it or like continue crying in a bathroom. I was like, okay. Anyways, so started reading these books, and at the time, it wasn't popular to have coaches. It wasn't a popular thing to like self-develop or hire somebody. Like, what we knew at the time was that you have a therapist, you have a psychologist, you can go to like therapy, but you didn't have that like knowledge. It wasn't popular at that time to have coaches and to have that like self-development, self-improvement. Like, Jay Shetty wasn't that popular back then. There wasn't any, like, I wouldn't say there wasn't any, but there wasn't as many resources as there are today for you to like understand, okay, this is not a good situation, I can change. Here are the tools I can use. Here are the free tools I can use. Here's the free content I can use, and it can help me develop. So at the time, it was really like going to buy a book that you think that you understand, and you're just like trying to read it, and then you go from there. So self-development journey is starting. I'm like, okay. But then, like, the thing is, like, you start your self-development journey, but your environment is not changing. So you are changing. So this is another hard truth. This is a hard truth in self-development, okay? I'm trying to get my ideas together. This is a hard truth when it comes to self-development. You are self-development. No, sorry. Let me start that again. This is a hard truth when it comes to self-development. You are self-developing yourself. You are growing. You are learning to grow your self-love. You are learning to become the better version of yourself. You are stepping into new behaviors. You are stepping into new pathways. You are stepping into new ways of thinking, of acting, and of being. Yet, your environment is not necessarily changing at the same time as you. And that is a big, hard truth, because when you are changing and when you are developing and when you are growing and when you are going to the next steps of your lives and stages of your life and becoming a new woman, your environment is not necessarily following you. And this is important to understand when it comes to your self-development. Your environment does not have to follow you, and it is not correlated to your self-growth, okay? So this is one thing, like, your existing environment is not changing with you. You are changing in that environment, okay? So this is a big point, because you don't all of a sudden become a better person and everybody around you becomes a better person. You don't all of a sudden start understanding your emotions and start understanding how to speak up for yourself and everybody does the same too. No, people are going to stay where they are. The environment is going to stay where it's at unless they choose as well to embark on this very hard journey with you. So this is really important, okay? So no expectations about that. Self-development journey is a single solo development journey. Unless you go have a BFF that wants to go in with you, you are on this journey on your own when it comes to self-development, okay? I'm starting to change. I'm starting to understand things. I'm starting to read a lot of things. I'm starting to find also mentors online and people that are experts in self-development who are putting out free content, who are putting out very educational, amazing content, which is very different than today, because today there's a lot of noise on social media, so it's not always easy to understand who's speaking the truth and what's going on. But back then, it was really good content and very interesting educational content. Consuming all this content, and then more and more, I'm like realizing, like, I don't want this. This relationship for me is not working. These environments, these friends, these habits are not working for me. This way of being is not working for me. And as every big, really big story happens, there always needs to have like that one big thing that breaks the camel's back, right? I don't know, is one straw the straw that broke the camel's back. So I remember I'm in like my, I think maybe 27, and I'm like, this is not working for me. And then boom, God, because God always has your back, my ladies. God always has your back. God was like, okay, I'm gonna give you this one final thunderstorm where you are going to understand that you cannot be here. Okay, I'm gonna send you this big storm, and you are gonna finally understand that you cannot be here. And I remember I was at like this event or whatever, and I saw like my whole, I was like looking at my toxic environment and like looking at my toxic people that were around me. And I just saw everything happen in front of my eyes. And I was like, ooh, this is it. This is it. Like, this is the final straw. And I remember calling my friend and I was like, this is what happened. She's like, you have to go. Like, this is it. You took on so many things. You took on so many betrayals. You took on so many lies. You took on so many disrespectful moves. Vanessa, you have to go because you are a very good person at the end of the day. Like, even if I was not able to set boundaries at the time, I was still I have a very big heart. And this is not always a good quality. I have a very big heart, very generous, very forgiving. And she told me, you have to like, shield the heart and go. Okay. Made the decision. This is it. I'm going. Like, I had the hard conversations. I was like, this is it. This is finished. I cannot hang out with you guys anymore. I cannot be with you anymore. I cannot like live this anymore. Do not talk to me. Do not speak to me. Like, it's done. Done, 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 done. Okay. And then comes like another path of self-development journey, because okay, once again, people around you, when you leave them, when they're toxic, they still want you back. They want you back, and you're like, no, 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 no. But you're moving. Like, you're literally moving. You're reading more books. I was reading Brene Brown, Daring Greatly, and I was starting to listen to audiobooks too, because back then it wasn't as popular. Consuming these things, consuming these things. This was in my ear all the time, reading the books on the bus, reading. And the more you read, the more you learn about the things, the more you're like unimpressed by toxic behavior, unimpressed by things that don't belong in your life, unimpressed, phantom. Like, you're just like, I'm unbothered. Like, I don't even care. There was this point in my life where I cared, and I would probably get back into that relationship, get back into that situation, but I don't care anymore. Like, this is done. This has nothing for me to entertain, okay? And this is like when you start knowing you're growing. You're like, oh, I'm growing. I am growing. And like, my ladies, you know how I said like your environment doesn't change? But once you start growing and start developing and start building back your self-love, like when you start building your self-love, you will see people come into your life that represent or reflect the self-love you have for yourself. You're gonna see people come in and be like, I see you. Like, here, let's jam together, let's hang out, and like, let's have deep, meaningful conversations, or let's just have like light conversations, but the conversations are good for your soul. So this is really important too, okay? Just as much how you are going to grow, and when you are on a self-development journey, your existing environment doesn't change. But trust me, your new environment is starting to build and starting to reflect your self-growth. So at that time, boom, I'm like self-developing, I'm doing all the things, and then I make a big move. I buy my first property, okay? I buy my first property, and for the longest time, I'm an immigrant kid, only child. Like, I lived with my parents until really late. Well, late. For a lot of people, it's really late. And so before like late 20s, I'm buying my first property. I had stacked the money up. This is one thing I'm going to give myself credit for. I had good people who would tell me, stack your money when you start getting a good job. And I had a good job. So my career was like really good. God bless. And boom, I'm down payment, boom, 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 buying my first property. My ladies, this was like, I felt so good in that moment, because this is something I did for myself. And this was all part of my self-growth journey. Now, move into my place, do all the things, but then you still feel a lot of stickiness. Like, this is the thing about self-development and personal development. It is hard. You are getting all these milestones, you're achieving all these things, and you're doing all these things, but it's still very hard because you're uncovering parts of you that were not always visible to you. Like I'm uncovering like the best self and anti-self in me, like the alter ego in Vanessa. I'm uncovering like my bad habits, I'm uncovering my bad attitude, I'm uncovering all these bad things about myself that I'm like, this is coming up, and now I have to face these things. I have to face the things that I've been hiding from for so long. And that's also very hard because you are with yourself with all your new accomplishments, but you have to really go inside of yourself and be like, ooh, this is what's happening. This is what's coming out. Like, I'm a people pleaser. I'm someone who cannot set boundaries. I am someone who is also very much like, can't speak my truth. I have a very big heart, a very sensitive heart that I need to sometimes protect. I have an inner child that is very sensitive to a lot of things. I love to run away from problems. I hate confrontation. These were all things that were coming out like very clearly where I was able to verbalize them. Because before you're like, yeah, I don't like confrontation. I never liked confrontation, but I would just not know to say that. I would just like not confront anybody and just hide behind my feelings. But now I knew like, okay, this is what's happening. And if I want things to be said, I need to say the things. I need to confront. So these were all things that were coming out. But I did not know what to do with that. I didn't have the container to like contain all of these things that were coming out. And at the same time, too, I wanted to call in someone in my life. Like I wanted a family. I wanted a husband. Like I wanted something. Like these were things that I knew I wanted. But at the point, I was still growing. So I wasn't like ready. Like it wasn't immediately like ready for that, but I was definitely like just trying to grow. So this is a big story. I'm sorry if this is long, but I'm not, because it's gonna be really helpful, I hope. At that time I knew like, and I have like at that time, like you're in your late 20s, early 30s, everybody around you is getting married, having kids, everybody's like living their best lives and everything. I'm also very much living my best life because I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning new things about myself. I'm learning to be alone. I'm learning to like not be in toxic environments. I cut the bad habits out, all these things. But I still knew like before calling in someone into my life, before like building a family, before all these things, I knew I needed to work on myself a little bit more because like I said, there was a lot of things that were containing, that were coming out, that were hard to contain. That's also one of the hard truths about self-development is that you have a lot of things that come out, but you don't know what to do with them. And because you don't know what to do with them, you sit with them. And then because you sit with them, sometimes you feel sad, you feel happy, you feel angry about yourself, and like all these things. So I knew I needed external help. Here comes my beautiful coach called Diana Iskander. She comes into my life. Well, I had followed her. Like I said, I was consuming content from mentors. So I'm like consuming content from her. I love what she's doing. She was a love coach, okay? And at that time, I didn't need like specifically guidance on how to attract love. I needed guidance on how to love myself. I needed help on how to be with myself. Like, how do I become Vanessa Joy that I can imagine, okay? So I write to her. I say, listen, I don't want a partner right now. I know I will want one eventually, but I need help. Like, I need help to self-love. Like, this is where I'm at, and this is what I need. I just came out of like some toxic stuff. I need something into my life. Like, I need you. She tells me, okay, gives me her price. I'm like, this is the biggest investment I've ever made after my down payment. I'm going in. We're doing this. 8 months in, okay? It was 8 months of program, one-on-one coaching, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, exercises, everything. My ladies, I went through a crazy self-development journey. It was insane. Like, I understood the power of a coach, a real certified coach, because it's very important. There's a lot of people who call themselves coach and they're not certified and don't have the like background to be a coach. Anyways, every time I was meeting her, she had questions for me. She had deep explorations of myself for us to uncover together. We were uncovering so many things. And in those 8 months, I saw my life completely change. It was incredible, the depth and the power of her work with me. And it was also because I was very open and very committed to the process that I was able to come to this level of my life. Literally, in those 8 months, it was very expansive, incredibly expansive, but also very hard because you have to face the demons inside of you. You have to face all the bad stuff you've done. You have to face the decisions that you've made. You have to understand the behaviors and why, where it comes from, and you have to like choose to become better. It's not easy, and it's not something we do very often, to look at our behavior and to try to understand, why am I reacting this way? Why is it that like I get very impulsive and very angry when someone does this to me? Why can't I speak my truth? Why can't I set boundaries? Why am I always people pleasing? I'm people pleasing my friends, my family. Like, I can't speak up, but it's like these things that come out, and you also go back to your past. Like, what are the things that really broke you? Like, what are the things that really hurt you and scarred you that you bring into your life today? Like, this is just an example, an overview of what happens. But trust me, it's deep and it's intense and it's extremely emotional. But you come out of that and you're like, whoo, you're able to understand behavior. And then from there, because I love my experience, I was like, I need to help other women the way you helped me. And she told me that you have to go to this coaching school. I went to this coaching school. I did a year of coaching school, 100 hours of coaching. And through that coaching school, I went even deeper in understanding myself, even deeper in my self-growth, even deeper in my personal journey. And that changed everything for me. And now I'm here today. Well, I'm not here. Like, it was a few years back, but I'm here today. And let me tell you, this is another hard truth. You come out of that season of your life, you're coming out of that season of your life and everything. And I knew that at that point where I was going is when I could actually put my vision of my life on paper. When I finished my coaching with my coach and I was doing my coaching school, we started talking about vision. Like, this, what is your vision for your life? What are you manifesting? What do you want to put out in your life? How do you see the best version of yourself? And these are things that I kind of knew, but I had never like done the practice. And I was able to envision, I want a husband, I want a great family, I want us to laugh, I want us to live this certain life, I want to have my business, I want to be like very confident in myself. I want to speak up. I want to be setting boundaries. I want to have a husband who is not from my city, who's from outside the country, where we're going to travel and we're going to live in different places. And I was saying things that were completely like, feel like completely out of reach for me, but I was just putting it on paper and putting it in universe, asking God for that and putting it on paper in my coaching practice and believing that it could happen to me. And this is one very big important thing when it comes to your self-development journey. Believing in yourself is directly correlated to self-love, for me, in my personal opinion. When you love yourself, when you have a certain amount of respect for yourself, when you value yourself, when you really, truly, really like recognize your worth, you are able to believe in yourself. You are able to believe in your capabilities and in your capacities, and you're able to believe in what you want to achieve. Like, self-love for me is directly correlated to self-belief, and self-belief is correlated to bringing your vision and your goals to life. Like, when you love yourself, you trust yourself, and you know that you are worthy enough to believe in these dreams. And when you believe in these dreams, you make them happen. It's point blank simple, just like that, my ladies, for real, okay? And at that time of my life, I was like calling in love, doing things and putting myself out there, doing the work and all the things. And let me tell you, today I am here, found my husband from another country. We are traveling the world. We're living abroad. We're doing the things. And I don't want to say that it's a big happy ending, because it is not. This is the thing about personal development, another big hard truth. You enter a new status of your life. You enter a new role in your life, and you realize you got more self-development to go. You have more self-growth to do. You have more self-love to be building, because it is not just like an end goal. Like, it's not a hard stop. Once I did my thing, once I did the whole work with Diana and I was working with myself, and then I was starting to like expand, and then I call in my husband comes into my life. Boom, we do these things. Now I'm a wifey. And being a wifey is another level. It's another thing. I have to self-develop. I have to grow. I have to learn new things and other not bad patterns, but like Other old patterns are coming back. Other old ways of being are coming back. Because trust me, ladies, when you're self-developing, and when you're on your personal journey on your own, like, I mean, on your own, when you're, of course you have people around you, but when you're not in a relationship, it's completely different than when you're in a relationship. Like, when I was alone, I was able to practice with myself on my own. But when you are in your relationship, you are confronted to a lot of things that you weren't confronted to when you were single and doing your thing in your home, you know? So I'm confronted to a lot of things with my husband that is bringing me and inspiring me to continue my practice and my work. And I can't apply necessarily what I was doing when I was single. No, I got to apply new things and new ways of being, because now we're a family. We're different. And I'm assuming that's going to be the same thing for when I'm going to have kids, and God willing, and all these things, you know? So these are very important hard truths, because there is no arrival. It's a journey. Like, so when you are growing into new steps of your life, when you like go into new levels, I wanted to say this, well, that's why I bugged, but I want to say this. It's like, for example, when you are building your career and you're entering that new level of your career, when you're entering a new relationship, when you're in a new relationship, when you have a new role as a woman, for example, motherhood, you are confronted to either staying who you were, but you can't because you've never been this person in this situation, or becoming another version of yourself, and you can become a better version of yourself and grow in a more positive way, or you can let yourself be driven by the wave. You know what I mean? Like, I could understand I'm entering my marriage and like just be like, oh, I'm just gonna like go with the flow of whatever's going on, and not have the conscious choice of making this an amazing experience for both of us, okay? Because we are going to be confronted to different things in new areas of our lives as we evolve, and it is extremely important to own that personal development for ourselves in order to grow in a way that we choose to grow in, and not letting our environment grow us into what the environment is, you know? So that's that, my ladies. Like, literally, personal development is a journey that never ends. We are always growing, we are aging, we are evolving, we are changing. And it's super important to give ourselves a lot of grace. And it's very much also important to be intentional about that growth. We have to choose what we grow into. We have to make the work happen for ourselves. You know, like, we have to intentionally continue to invest in ourselves, whether it's time, whether it's money, but we have to put that energy inside our growth, because we never stop growing. And it is extremely important for us to be happy, to be purposeful in our lives, to be in this area and this moment of our lives, and be really like expansive and growing, and really making sure that that reflects where we want to be. You know, if you're a mom, you have to make sure that what your experience reflects what you actually want to experience. Like, if you want to live this type of motherhood, you have to make sure that the decisions you're making and the growth that you are doing into that role is reflecting what you truly want for yourself. And same thing in my marriage. Like, there are times where I am not my best self in my marriage, and I'm like I feel like 15-year-old Vanessa is coming out the fight, and I'm not proud of that. And so I have to come back to like, who am I trying to be in my marriage? Who am I trying to be as a wife? Who am I trying to be as a woman right now? And like, have to grow from there and move from that place. So like I said, this is a big hard truth. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. Like, the outcome is 100% worth it. And we just have to really make sure that we make conscious decisions, we make conscious actions, we make conscious choices to make sure that that growth is in concordance and in congruence with what life we are trying to build for ourselves. Whew, I love talking about self-development. I love talking about this journey. And I know that like, women who have experienced the personal development journey really understand how it feels. And if you have not, my ladies, it's okay, because you've probably, well, not probably, you've been on a self-development journey of your own without knowing it, because you're growing and evolving. It's just about like being aware and conscious of the choices that you want to make. And sometimes we have to use external help. Sometimes a coach, a mentor, a person, a friend needs to come into our lives and help us grow and push us to ways of thinking we have not been thinking about before, okay? And like behaviors and patterns, like these are things that we need sometimes external help to help us grow and bring us there. So don't hesitate in asking for that help. Don't hesitate in getting that guidance, in getting that like partnership with you, so it will bring you to the next level. I promise. Woo! Okay, that was a good episode. That was I'm like kind of sore now from it. No, I'm kidding. My ladies, if you have any question when it comes to personal development, self-development journey, I am also a self-development strategist. So if you have questions and you want to explore this avenue and want to see how we can work together in order to self-develop whatever you want to self-develop in, whatever area you want to develop in, sorry. If you want to have a little glimpse of what that could look like for you, DM me or write me in the comments and I will get to you and we can explore that together. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can definitely pop them into the comments and I will get back to you as well. My ladies, thank you so much for being here. And I just want to say, being part of this podcast, being part of this environment, being part of this space is also part of your self-development, because this is the goal for us to gain tools, tips, and tricks and ways of being so we can live a purposeful life and just be the best version of ourselves as women on this beautiful planet. So on that note, I will see you next week and thank you so much for being here.